And at bar 117 assembly, the music kind of like I won't say interrupt, but suddenly the hymn
yes,
by 4 parts crowd. Okay, so why you put this theme, this hymn, in the last celebration?
Good question. Yeah,
I would assume this reason it must be very important.
yes, absolutely.
You know, we debated back and forth.
We did.
And talked a
This
lot
went in and
about-
out of the piece several times. I think out of any other elements. This
Absolutely.
was-
I think it was out probably 3 times, and then it made the final cut for some reason.
Yeah, it did.
But maybe there's an aspect of religiosity that needed to be addressed on the trail, especially perhaps Mormon settlers and other pioneers that came across. And as Steve was mentioning, part of the campfire theme was to celebrate and to dance, but then certainly at times there's a religious element of being grateful for the things that you had, even through the suffering and the trials and opposition. And so we wanted a hymn to kind of portray that religiosity.
Yes.
We just couldn't let ourselves leave it out. We've heard so many stories of so many people coming across the plains, and at the end of just a hard day, dusty, long 15-mile day. It just probably would have worn people to the bone. They'd get down on their knees and they'd say a prayer, and then they'd get up from their prayer and dance all the night. And we just looked at that in awe and thought, how did they do that? And so perhaps this is a little bit of a tribute on our end, a hymnal and a chorale, as you were saying, that tributes them and is to the tribute of not only their determination, but perhaps their conviction in their hearts and what they really wanted to do.
Absolutely.
I understand the religion issues is a very important part of our history.
It seems to be, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. And we can play a little bit of that if you want to hear a little bit of the hymn. It's just a short 2-stanza, something you'd hear in a chapel somewhere, perhaps.
And then what happens musically is we kind of draw off that melody note, and then we're ready for the Fast and Furious.
Yes.
This is, as critics have called it, the toe-tapping part of the piece. And certainly, as you said, the most fun. I think audiences connect with this. It's very, very... there's some Copland influence certainly in it, and lots of fiddle influence. We studied some fiddle music, and so it just starts out with almost like two people bowing to each other in a square dance. You know, you have the violin section who, and then the cello answer back again. And then the dance begins. And then it keeps going on, and it's just a fun time, and I think they think that's how they dance their troubles away, and I think that's how they dance their blisters off their feet. So.
And what's fun, and I don't know, maybe just from when I was a little boy, I always loved when something happened musically that you didn't expect. And so the very beginning theme of Celebration, remember that theme Steve played, the da da dun dun?
Yeah.
So of course, we're going to bring that back, and we designed the compositional strategy, just kind of the fun fiddling elements to fit in counterpoint with the opening campfire theme.
Right.
Yes.
So it's fun that now everything is coming together at the same time to climax at the end and just celebrate the Spanish Trail.
Now, a little secret for those that are listening to this conversation: there are little elements of all the movements in the, and it's almost like a Where's Waldo musical. Where's Waldo? You'd really have to be listening very, very carefully to find them, but you'll hear this melody. And you'll even hear a little of the Spanish in there as a conglomeration of a celebration of all the cultures.
I would worry about the person that tried to seriously find where those are at.
Yes, you may need a little bit more to do, but certainly we'd appreciate the effort. But yeah, so that's the most fun, and we had a lot of fun putting all those together, and it was a celebration for us too, I think.
Do you want to try to fiddle with it as I do that?
See.
Dun, dun. I think normally it's the violins going crazy.
Yeah, let's see what I can do. Yeah, sure.
So again, we put the climaxing in again.
Something like that, but it's just fun, yeah. So
it's fun with the whole orchestra.
And that comes, of course, we wanted it to just knock the audience off their feet at the end. It comes to a very, very large climax where the whole orchestra is giving it their all, and that's really where we feel like the propitious nature of these people's trials and struggles and their efforts in building the West comes to a point and comes to that climax of celebration at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely.